What's up there, YouTube? It's Gores here, giving you guys a deck profile for my Fire Fist deck. Fire Fist is an all-time classic favorite of mine, and with us getting into a new season, I figured I'd bring back one of my favorite decks. So without further ado, let's just get right into the deck profile. Let's start off. We have a playset of Maxi and a playset of Ash Blossom. These are the best hand traps in the game right now. Don't need to say much more about them. Next up, we have a playset of Red Resonator. When Red Resonator is summoned, it's going to special summon a level 4 lower from our hand, which is going to allow us to synchro summon into our Horse Prince. Other than that, there's really not much need for this card. It is an extender, so that's nice. Next, we have Raven. It's our combo starter. When it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to set a Fire Formation spell directly from our deck. It also prevents our Fire Formations from being destroyed. So the main goal is to normal summon this and then link it off into Almirage and then search for Tenki or Tensu and just start doing our combo. Next we have Rooster. Some people play two. I don't mind playing one. I haven't really missed having less than two, so I really enjoyed having just the one. When it's summoned by the effect of a Fire Fist, you get to add a Fire Fist from your deck to your hand, and then while it's on the field, you can send a Fire Formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard and then set a Fire Formation spell or trap directly from the deck. Really solid card, can't really complain about it. It's definitely one of the main combo pieces you need for the deck. Next we have One Bear. It's just a searchable way to destroy monsters. It lets you search your deck when you're top decking. Whenever it inflicts damage to your opponent, you can set a Fire Formation spell directly from your deck, and you can send a Fire Formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard and destroy one monster. Next we have Fire Formation Dragon, the most important Fire Fist in the deck. This card is absolutely insane. So whenever you activate a Fire Formation spell or trap, you can set a Fire Formation trap directly from the deck, so we can set our counter trap. And then in addition, once per turn, you can send one face-up Fire Formation spell or trap to the once per turn you can send two face-up Fire Formation spell or traps you control to the graveyard, target one Fire Fist monster in the graveyard, and then special summon it. So sending two is actually way too much of a cost, but thanks to the effect of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle, we no longer have to pay the costs to summon back, so we can just keep summoning and summoning and summoning and go into some crazy spammy boards because of Dragon. Next up we have Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elephant. Elephant is another one of our main combo starters. When it's normal or special summoned, you can send a face-up Fire Formation spell you control to the graveyard and special summon one Fire Fist monster from your hand. This is kind of why we don't really care about losing the Rooster, because if it's in our hand, we can just search for Elephant, and then Elephant will allow us to summon Rooster from hand. And then you can once per turn you can target a Fire Formation spell or trap in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then add one level 5 or higher Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. Speaking of level 5 or highers, we are running 2 copies of Coyote. This is more so for going second, but it is also a pretty decent level 5 monster. You could opt to just play 1 Coyote and play 2 Rooster, but I actually really enjoy Coyote. I think it's a pretty slept-on card in general, especially in a format where we are playing best of 1. You could also cut it to try and make room for infinite impermanence, but once again, I really enjoy this card. I think it's a pretty solid card. Next up, we have our Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Panda. Panda is probably one of the most important cards as well. It probably goes, in order of importance in this deck, it goes Dragon, Raven, Elephant, Panda. So Panda is really strong. If you activate a Fire Formation spell or trap, you can summon it from the hand, and then you can special summon a Fire Fist monster from the graveyard, except for Panda. In addition to that, if a Fire Fist monster you control will be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can send a Fire Formation instead. So, really insane card, really insane extender, allows you to get back your Fire Fists after linking them off, just really solid card. We play 1 copy of the Ritual. You're able to search the Ritual and itself from deck to hand, so it just makes sense. You can discard a monster to set a Fire Formation spell or trap directly from your deck or graveyard, and then whenever your opponent's monster activates a monster effect, you can send a Fire Formation or Fire Fist card you control to the graveyard except for himself and negate that effect. The reason why this is so solid is because, once again, with Eagle, you no longer have to pay costs, so it's just a free monster negate. We play 1 copy of Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice is just in there because it allows us to recycle our engineing for those really grindy games. This deck, I'm not going to say it has a bad matchup against Sky Striker, but it's just really who can out-resource each other in what they end up top decking. It becomes a really top decky grindy match. So Pot of Avarice really helps in that instance. Next up, we have the Fire Fortress atop Liang Peak. It's always treated as a Fire Formation card, and each time a Fire Formation monster is summoned, it's going to get a counter. And then once per turn, you can remove counters to activate one of the effects. If your Beast Warrior monsters attack this turn, your opponent cannot activate card or effects if you just remove 2. Removing 6 lets you add a Beast Warrior monster from deck to your hand. Removing 10 lets you special summon a Beast Warrior monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, sometimes when you open up with this in your combo, if you open up with it, you can end with the Ritual and the Fusion, making it really obnoxious for your opponent to break your board. Next, we have a playset of Tensu. It's a searchable double summon for the deck. It gives you an additional normal summon of a Beast Warrior in addition to your normal summoner set, and all your Beast Warrior monsters are going to gain 100 attack points. Same thing with Tenki, gives all your monsters 100 attack, and then it lets you search any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior monster directly from your deck to your hand, so it's going to be able to search our Raven or our Elephant, or some cases we need Rooster. It's just a really solid card. If we have Red Resonator, we can search for Dragon and then sync into Horse Prince. Horse Prince will grab the Rooster, and Rooster will search our deck for Panda, and then we can go from there. Next up, we have the Fire Formation Domei. Domei is the ritual summon, and then also when you send it to the graveyard, you can special summon a Fire Fist monster from your graveyard. So the reason why Eagle is so broken is because you don't have to choose to not send. So like what I mean by that is normally you're not going to want to pay the cost for your cards, but sometimes you want to, because then you can get the Domei to summon back a third Fire Fist monster. So Dragon, send this in another formation, bring back a Fire Fist, and then summon the third Fire Fist monster with Domei, putting 3 Fire Fist monsters on your board for the grindy matchups. And then InGen is the fusion spell and lets you add a Fire Fist monster to your hand when it is sent to the graveyard. Double copies of Called by the Grave. This deck has a really, really bad time against hand traps, so Called by the Grave just makes sense. And 2 copies of Fire Formation Sinto. Sinto is probably the best card in the deck when it comes to the combo. It's able to stop your opponent from using Dark Ruler no more, Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm, anything that could break your board, and then they have to break your board without being able to use a monster effect or attacking. So this card is absolutely bananas. So, and you also get to destroy the card that you negate. So pretty solid. You can stop so much with this card in the format. It stops any spell or trap, so pretty good card. Next up, we have Swan. It's the first card in the extra deck, and whenever it's special summoned, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Fire Formation spell or trap you control. Don't take that 200 damage lightly. Sometimes it's 1,000, so it hasn't come up often, but I have burned them for 1,000 with this card. And then during the battle phase, you can send a Fire Formation to target a card and destroy it. This helps with breaking boards and also preventing your opponent from breaking your board. Horse Prince, we've talked about this a little bit. Lets you summon a free level 3 fire monster from your deck, which is pretty insane. Sometimes I have summoned Ash Blossom, but only because I wanted the extender there. And you can't summon level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn, which sometimes can conflict with the Ritual and the Fusion, but not very often. Next up, we have the Fire Fist Tiger King. Tiger King is the main Exceed monster for the combo. When it's Exceed summoned, you can set a Fire Formation spell or trap directly from your deck, and once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up effect monsters currently on the field, except for Beast Warriors, until the end of the turn when this card, except for Beast Warriors until the end of your opponent's turn. So basically what this is going to do is this is going to create a pseudo Dark Ruler no more for your deck. The only difference is it's going to make sure that your monsters are unaffected and you can still deal damage. And then when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send 3 Fire Formation spell or traps you control to the graveyard, and special summon 2 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior monsters with the same attack from your deck in defense position. So there actually is a play where you destroy this while you have Eagle with your own bear, and then summon 2 dragons from your deck, and then Exceed into the Cardinal, and then link into whatever you need to out your opponent's board. Speaking of Cardinal, Cardinal lets you detach 2 materials, and then you can target 2 Fire Fist or Formation cards in your graveyard and 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard or face up on the field, and shuffle all of them into the deck. So this will let you recycle your Fire Fist cards while also shuffling problem cards on your opponent's side of the field. Next, we do play the 1 copy of Zeus. We're playing 2 Xyz monsters, and we had the room in our extra deck, so it didn't really matter. Next up, we have the 1 Salamangreat Almirage. This allows us to do our normal combo plays with our Fire Formation Raven. Next up, we have the Nightmare Phoenix. It just allows us to outspell cards and link climb. Next up, we have 2 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle. Once again, this lets us use our Fire Fist cards without paying cost, and once per turn, you can target a fire formation you control, or in your graveyard, send it to the, 1 Fire Fist formation spell or trap you control in your graveyard, return it to the hand, then send 1 Fire Fist monster directly from your deck to your graveyard. This can come in handy when you're in the grind matchup. That's why we're playing 2, and then also it is part of the main combo for Fire Fist. Next up, we have 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Peacock. Peacock is really strong. It allows you to, whenever you declare an attack, to basically get the effect of Borolo Dragon by targeting an opponent's monster and then placing it in a zone that it points to. And the only difference is that it cannot attack, but then you can just move to the end phase and link with it. Next up, we have 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Farragut. Ferret, she is in there because mainly she lets you summon a level 4 lower Beast Warrior from your hand, and sometimes that's important to link climb into our access code talker. Also giving us a different attribute other than fire is pretty strong, because then when we do summon the access code, sometimes we can get 4 activations off with the access code, which is pretty important. Next up, we have 1 copy of the Nightmare Unicorn, once again for link climbing into access code. Appaloosa is in here as well, because sometimes you can just pop off with your combo and also make an Appaloosa. Next up, we have the 1 copy of access code. It's the best link 4 in the game. You can't not play it. And finally, we have 1 Omen for the non-targeting removal, and also we can make it in this deck with ease, and when our opponent does out it, we can search for our combo starter and not have to worry about what our opponent can do. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this in-depth look into the Fire Fist deck. I really enjoy playing it. Can't wait to play it on stream on Friday. Yeah, and then I look forward to tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video is going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And it's Gores signing off.